Welcome back to another night of our horror movie Halloween marathon. Out of order. Tonight we watched Alone in the Dark. Not the 1982 movie about the four psychos that escaped from an asylum, but the 2005 movie by Uwe Boll. Let's jump into it. Acting. What'd you think?
Oh, you're really gonna make me do this. Okay.
Yep.
Here we go.
Acting. One thing at a time.
I'm gonna give it a 2. Just wasn't good. It was dry and stale and forced and cold and dead and lifeless. And I don't know why I'm not giving it a 1.
I was going to say, I agree with all those things, and that's why I'm actually giving it a 1. I know I told you even before we started, Tara Reid I don't actually like. I mean, she's attractive enough girl and all, but she's a terrible actress for me. I never believe her lines. I never believe her delivery. I can't get into anything that she's in. American Pie is maybe the only thing she's believable in, because she's playing an awkward, uncomfortable teenager, and she can pull that off because that's what she is. But in here, everyone is like that. No one delivers their lines with any conviction. None of it's ever believable. It just, like you said, it's terrible. It's very dry. It's very detached. It's not good acting at all. Definitely a 1. Effects.
I'm gonna give that one a 2 as well. I mean, they were decent. There was some decent gore with like the lady that had her head chopped open from the monsters. That looked good. That was about it. The CG was not good. Those creatures weren't good looking. That was about it.
I'm actually going to go higher. I was tempted to give it a 4, but I think I'm going to say 3, because you reminded me of the lady with her head cut open, and that was actually terrible. That, for me, looked very cheesy and dumb. Like, you could tell that was like a wax puppet thing or something. Like,
really?
that was poorly done.
Yeah,
But no, I thought the monsters actually looked pretty good. When they phased in and out, looked kind of cool, and when they were moving around.
No, it was just too early 90s cheesy.
Well, hold on. The one scene where they first come out with the guns and the camera's very jerky and the loud music is playing, that part I thought was cheesy.
Yeah.
But a lot of the other times when you saw the monsters, they looked alright. Before we get to the next part, though, on to what you were just saying, though, this movie actually reminded me a lot of an 80s action flick. Like, the acting and the lines they had to read and the camera direction and the action sequence choreography, even the story a little. Like, this all felt like Total Recall, RoboCop, Starship Troopers. Like, this would have fit perfect right in that era of movies.
Well,
this was
because
right
I like those movies. I didn't like this.
But this fit with those. Like, this was right
I was watching.
I
was wondering what year that came out in, because I was thinking, man, is that an early or a mid to late 90s movie? Because it really felt like it.
Yeah, to me, it did. It felt like 80s. Like, it felt like it belonged with those.
I wouldn't say 80s. I'd say the 90s.
Okay, so story. What did you think?
I'm going to give it a 1. It was terrible. I kind of dozed off through most of it, so I didn't even see most of it. And that right there alone tells you how crappy it was. Like, you were like, hey, Tyler, you're still alive. I'm like, yep, I was like, all right, maybe I should pay attention for the rest of the movie. Luckily, that was only like 15 minutes. I had no idea what the hell was going on.
I was awake for the whole thing, and I don't really think I did either. I'm also going to give it a 1. There was a lot of scenes that reminded me of other movies. Like, when they're on the ship pulling up the box and doing it, that reminded me of, like, right at the beginning of Wishmaster, when they're unearthing, the little gem that he's in.
There were a lot of,
other scenes that I think were copied directly out of other movies.
This is Hellboy and Men in Black and, so many other movies all rolled into one.
Except they all did well, and this was terribly done.
Yeah.
I mean, gaping plot holes and just huge gaps in the story that made no sense, and disjoint scenes, and I kind of envy you for dozing off, because I had to pay attention to the whole thing, and it was crap.
Good.
So yeah, definitely a 1 from me. And then lastly, scare factor, there's none. This actually isn't a horror movie. If you look at the case, it looks like it would be, and you'll read the description and look at the box, and it looks like a horror flick. This is actually just a really cheesy action movie, and not even a good one. But I don't think this even attempts to be horror. If it does, then Uwe Boll doesn't fully understand what horror actually means. So, yeah, it's also a 1.
Yeah, it's a 1. It's no scares whatsoever. Alright, so overall, Alone in the Darkness.
Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark. Sorry. Alone in the Dark. Yep, there it is. Alone in the Dark. Gets a 1.5. We'll round it down to a 1 because that's about what it deserves.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're not gonna round up on this one. This definitely gets a 1. You can tell it was a B budget flick, and even that, I think someone wasted their money.
Yeah,
This is just a terrible movie.
I'm fine with Christian Slater, not in this movie, but I like him in pretty much everything else. I'm fine with Tara Reid, unlike Dean here,
Mhm.
but didn't redeem the movie at all. It was just
it was
garbage.
Yeah, there's definitely not recommended if you hadn't gathered. There's no reason to watch this. It's bad everything. It's a giant waste of time. I was actually looking at the counter on the DVD player most of the time, like, all right, we're almost to that mark. I know how long it is. We're almost there. It's getting there.
I was looking at the inside of my eyelids for most of it.
It was just, it's bad. And that's it. There's no reason to even talk about this thing anymore.
So we went from the highest of the high yesterday with the children to the lowest of the low today.
Yeah, this is actually the worst one we've seen. This was worse than even, like, Bitten. This was just the bottom. So, yeah, we'll be back later with another movie, and it pretty much has to be better.
Oh, dear God, I hope.
Actually, a little teaser, the next one is Freaks, a movie from the 60s.
I hope it's going to
So,
be good. I hope it's going to be
Here's hoping.
at least decent. Come on.
Bye.